Hey guys, it's Dima from Tech, and today we're talking about the upcoming event pretty soon when you see it, the Google Pixel event. So we're going to talk about some rumors, some things that we know, some things that we don't, what to expect, and yeah, let's see what we get. So basically for now we know for sure that we'll see the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro. And we pretty much already seen even the device on almost everything. But let's go through some notes, and I have some here, and see a little of the specs and talk about them and everything what we do know. Now, besides that, we do know that there will be some new, probably Pixel stand, which will probably be wireless, and as far as we know, there is a faster wireless charging, but it's still a rumor. I didn't see something concrete that, yeah, it is what it is. Some speculate it will be 25-watt charging, some speculate it will be 20, things like that. So we don't know for sure yet. But basically what we have here is that both of them will come with Android 12, obviously, with the new, finally full Android 12, and the Pixel 6. Let's start with the smaller one. It will be a 6.4-inch AMOLED display with a 90 Hz refresh rate, probably Full HD Plus or something like that. I've seen many rumors, but again, we're not sure. But that's the most, I would say, deciding spec here, the 6.4-inch display. Now next is 8 gigs of RAM, which is quite a lot if you ask me. It is a good and welcoming thing for a Pixel. Finally something really concrete, I'd say, in terms of hardware, and it will be very interesting to see how it will operate. But 8 gigs of RAM is quite good. There will be probably two versions, 128 and 256 gigs of storage, and for me, honestly, 128 should be enough. My Pixel 2 XL is also 128, and I pretty live with no issues with that. I'm guessing I'll go with something higher, but we'll see about that. Now, in the smaller Pixel 6 there will be two cameras, and there is a pretty big camera bump, and for just two cameras, I hope they will be really good. So there will be a 50 megapixel wide-angle camera, which is pretty much the main camera. The thing probably comes from a Samsung sensor, and pretty much the whole device is sort of Samsung collaboration with Google, I'd say. We'll have to see how it goes. The 50 megapixels should be better from what we've seen. Well, technically we've seen just the 12 megapixels, which will still be here, but probably a different sensor in the ultra-wide camera. This is the other camera. The selfie camera in the Pixel 6 will be 8 megapixels, and all of that will be powered by 4614 mAh battery. Sounds good, for my opinion, but we'll have to see how it works with the new Tensor chip, which we'll talk about next. Now, the fingerprint will be in display. Honestly, I do like the Pixel 2 XL approach where it is in the back. I also like those phones that have it in the power button on the side. I think it's the best thing, but I don't know, I hope it will be good in the in-display as well. We'll have to see. Both of the phones will be IP68 rated, which is, I think it should be an obvious thing for now. Seriously, if you don't have an IP rating, I don't know, it damages the phone, the company that does it. I know for companies it does take a lot of extra effort, and it will be more expensive to make that phone, but still, I prefer to pay some extra and be sure that in case of some accident or something, I will be more secure. Now, I'm not dropping my phone into water, and actually if I take this for a swim, though it is IP60 something rated, I'm still taking a full waterproof pouch for that. In terms of wire charging, as far as we know, it's about 30 watts for both of the phones. It is fast, it is welcoming, and probably, hopefully, it's a power delivery, the standard, but we live in a world that we do see some phones with even 120 watts of charging. So that's how it stacks against the other, but it's still better than many other phones. So fast charging is a good thing here, but it's not the best thing that Google should market it probably with. But again, 30 watts of charging is good. Now let's go to the 6 Pro. The Pixel 6 Pro is the bigger model, and this is pretty much the Google Pixel flagship sort of. So, what do we have different here? Again, Android 12 obviously, 6.71 AMOLED and 120 FPS refresh rate, and that will be probably an LPTO, I think, screen, that's how we call it, by Samsung. Basically, it will allow you to go from about 10 Hz or 1 Hz up to 120, depends on what you want to use. And honestly, I really hope that there is a way to get it to stick to those 10 or 1 Hz refresh rate just when I need, because I think this is the most important thing here to actually make the battery last much longer. And I know probably for something like that you'll probably need to root your device. I probably won't do that, but we'll see if there will be some option for that, because seriously, that's something that I would want to see. An option to actually lock it at some low refresh rate and then get much more battery out of it. In terms of memory, 12 gigs of RAM. Wow, that's... I don't know what Android can use with 12 gigs of RAM. I mean, seriously, what? But obviously it is a welcoming thing, and we'll see if that does any improvement or anything. That will be very interesting to see, though there are other phones that have so much RAM, but I don't think anyone actually uses so much. I mean, even with those, I think 4 gigs here in the Pixel 2 XL, I don't really look at how much RAM do I use anymore. It's something in the past, and I think we already have enough in that term. Now in terms of storage, 128 gigs again, 256 gigs again, and 512 gigs. In my opinion, I'll probably get the 256 if it won't be too much expensive, but 128 should be enough for me as well. In terms of the cameras, we have now 3 cameras, and the 2 of them we already talked about, but there will be another one, which is... okay, so there's a thing that is called a periscopic camera, and basically it's sort of an internal zoom, an optical zoom, which will allow you to sort of move the lenses and zoom in optically. And that's something that, as far as we know, will be on that 3rd camera, which will be a 48 megapixel as far as we know. That will be only on the 6 Pro, and that's something that I hope I will get to play with. And hopefully it will be good and won't disappoint, because I really like some telephoto, at least in my phone. It would be nice probably. Again, wide angle is very important for me as well, and that lens that you see me from now is actually a very wide lens. Actually, it's on 50 millimeters right now. It's kind of close to me. If I want to get to the camera, that's the only thing that I need to do. And if we'll zoom in a little, or not so little, now we're on 35 millimeters and you can see me like that as well. Let's zoom out for a second. So it will be an interesting camera to see as well. Now, in-display fingerprint reader, obviously IP68 rated, obviously, we already talked about it. Charging, as I said, again, 30 watts of charging as far as we know, though here the battery is a 5000 mAh, and that's not a rumor anymore. It will be 5000 and something as far as we know. Actually, it's not as far as we know. We already seen a leaked video by probably Google on the assembly of the device. Now, sadly this video got deleted. I don't think I will be able to find it or something with a different link, but during that video you see pretty much all the device, all the internals, and you do see the battery capacity, which is 5000, and I think it was 13, don't get me on that one, but it was something like that. 5000 mAh is very welcoming, but again, with 30 watts of charging, it might be not that fast as you'd wish. Hopefully, we'll get along with it as well. Now, in terms of other things, as I said, we'll see Pixel stand or Pixel dock, I don't know how to call that sort of station that you put your phone and it stands there. Probably it will be wireless, and that's the new wireless probably standard. I guess Google will do something proprietary, but it will still work on slower speeds with regular Qi chargers. We'll see about that as well. I do have a Qi charger here at home. I think that one was 5 or 10 watts. Nothing extreme, you've already seen it in some videos. And hopefully it will work with that one as well, because it's a nice advantage to just have it lying around here and using that as well. Now, there are rumors about 2 more devices, and Google did claim that we will see some surprise during this event, but I think people exaggerated. There is a rumor about a folding Pixel device, and there's an ongoing rumor back for, I don't know, I think 2 years already, if not even more, about the Pixel Watch. Both of them are welcome, and hopefully we'll get to see them. Honestly, regarding the Pixel Watch, I might want to switch that, but I don't think that we'll see any of those right now. We will see the folding device before the end of the year, as far as we heard, at least from Google rumors, but I don't think it will be during that event. Here are my thoughts on the Pixel folding device, however it will be called. That device, I think, will be pretty much copycat from the Samsung Fold, and the reason is because most of the components will be made by Samsung as well. Technically, the screen by Samsung, and all the integration and everything as we've seen so far, it seems like Samsung got it pretty going on already. I wouldn't say right, there are other ways to do that. Samsung actually did claim some sort of patent on using a rollable screen probably in the future, which will delete that sort of crease in the middle of the screen, which I really hate. I did touch it in one of the Samsung stores. I hate this thing. So we might see some foldable device, but I think it will be sort of a Samsung Fold version with clean Android software, which is still a good and welcoming thing, but I don't think that first iteration of the device will be good enough for anyone to daily drive it. The Pixel Watch, on the other hand, but I don't think we'll see that as well. The real surprise that we'll probably see is that sort of Pixel Pass that lately we had some rumors about. I don't know if we'll be able just to pay monthly and get a device and some other services, or just services, or how exactly will it work, but I might think of going that way as well. We'll see how difficult it will be to get, because I live in Israel, where officially Pixel devices aren't sold, and sadly Pixel 6, at least according to the rumors, won't be sold here as well. I am thinking of getting the Pixel 6 Pro in terms of that, and probably it will be a black one, though the gold one did look quite fantastic on their website. I'm not sure yet if I will just order it directly from Google with some sort of service that will deliver it to me, or if I will wait for some secondary importer here in our country to deliver that, and then they'll sell it here locally. We'll see about that. The Pixel 2 XL, if you remember, did come directly from Google. It was an amazing device, and you've seen me fixing it and everything. I still love it, but I think it is the time to switch. So, I think it's time for us to talk about the elephant in the room, about the Tensor SoC. And yeah, I want to zoom in and talk a little bit serious here. So, I'm not a professional, I'm not a manufacturer or anything, and I'm not a hardware engineer. But here are my thoughts. So, technically Google already creates Tensor processors for their appliances. Basically, Google does have their sort of AI appliances that they use in their server rooms, and basically the Tensor chip isn't something really new. Now, it is, but there is the Tensor that they use, and there is the Tensor that they created with Samsung, that Samsung will pretty much adapt an Exynos sort of with that Tensor capabilities. Whatever Google implements there, we still don't know for sure, and that's pretty much the chip that will sit in the device, in the Pixel 6. Now, we don't know exactly how good it will be, how bad it will be, or anything. What we do know currently, in terms of some benchmarks, it will stand somewhere between the latest Exynos processors and almost like a Snapdragon 888. It will be probably slightly less powerful, but I think it's good enough in that term. Now again, we still have no idea how the cooling will be. We don't know how well it will work with the battery. It might be better, it might be worse, and how technically Google will implement it in the device, because it's a real huge AI processor, and AI is the key with Google. We already know that, but here it seems that we are taking a few steps forward, and yeah, it's something new. I'm having hard thoughts on whether should I just go in and buy the device or wait for reviewers to check this out before I do. And honestly, that's something that only time will tell. I do hope that even if there are bugs, and you know Google and our companies nowadays, there are bugs, but hopefully it will be only software and they will be able to fix it with future updates. And more of that the bugs won't be that damaging or something important. So that's in terms of the Tensor chip here. And yeah, though we did finish talking about the hardware, but there are a few software tricks that probably are coming. There's some sort of eraser tool on the camera that probably will allow us to erase fences that Google have been claiming that they are working on it for years now. And honestly, I really want to see that on that phone. There are other things, improvements that we might see, some good dynamic range in the camera, probably finally they will put some attention to video, because the video on the Pixels were always kind of horrible, let's be honest. In terms of photography, I don't think anyone stands a chance with Google in that area, but we'll see if those new sensors in terms of camera will maybe break something in terms of that. Maybe it will be actually worse, but I don't think so. I think it will take time. It will be a little bit worse in the beginning, but then it will just be better again, because that's what Google does. Google is more a software company and not a hardware company. And I think we'll see the device pretty much grow, because my Pixel 6 was growing and growing with the capabilities and features that it had. Actually, even until today, with a few Android apps, I still see new things. And yeah, I think it's a quite really good device. And once I'll get the Pixel, probably I'll be able to play with the Pixel 2 XL. Now, honestly, I just thought about it lately, but I'm an Android user for 11 years. And let me zoom out a little. I want you to see something here. So basically, I have here actually a few of my devices. So I have the HTC One M8, I have the Nexus 6P, and I do have the HTC One M7, but my father is using it for a few things. Technically, the HTC One M8 sadly isn't working. I don't know, I can't get it to start. Probably the battery is totally dead or something. It doesn't start even when the power is connected. The Nexus 6P, I think you remember what happened with it. Technically it was Qualcomm's issue actually, so I'm not worried that Google will break that stuff, yet at least. The Nexus 6P pretty much works on 2 cores instead of 4 or something like that, I don't remember. It does work, not perfectly, but it does. And one final thing, this guy was actually charging, and I'll try to show you. Yeah, you can see it. It is actually working. Let me try to zoom in a little bit for that, and we'll try to focus on that. See if I can focus on that. Yeah, so yeah, you can see that it does work. It's a little bit hard to operate with the camera, but yeah, it does work. Everything is working here. Obviously slow, but yeah, the device is still working until today, which is a very amazing device until today, though I wouldn't use it on any terms for now. It's too slow for us nowadays, but still working, which is amazing. That was my first Android device, the Nexus One from 2010. I got it on the 24th of October, and currently we are almost there, so maybe I'll get the Pixel 6 Pro quite soon.
Thank you for watching this Linus Tech episode. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell so you won't miss any future video. And I'll see you on the next one.